Hi everyone, I am back here in the barn in Rhode Island, and I'm here for Thanksgiving. Every year before Thanksgiving, I come up here a few days in advance and I make beeswax candles in the barn. So I've just finished candle dipping. I've spent the last couple of days making candles. They're hanging over there, and I'm about to package them. I think this is a very good time to make a little announcement. So, over the last few years, when I do things like make candles or make my wise man's soap or even making flower pots, I receive many requests from people asking if they can purchase these things. Now, well, on Sunday, December 1st, you will be able to purchase some of these things if you live in the States. I am debuting an online shop, rajivsurendra.com, and I'm so excited about this because previously there just wasn't a convenient way of administering the sale of things like candles and soap. I also really didn't have enough to sell. So I've been really making candles and soap for the last 10 years purely for my own consumption. This is something that I've been doing because I enjoy using these things. The soap really is my favorite soap. The candles are sentimental to me. The beeswax for the candles, here's a nice big block, look at it. Comes from New York State or New York City, and I don't really think about selling this stuff, but from seeing how many people out there how many people want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? Now you got a piece of me. Or you can have a piece of me. That is how it feels. This stuff really is a piece of me. Because, as I said, I have been making these things just for myself. And the impetus to make this stuff has always come from just a place of curiosity. I haven't been motivated to make this stuff for the purpose of selling it. And I think the wonderful thing for me, why I feel so lucky, is because I've been cultivating this practice for so long that it's come to the place where I've been able to create this stuff and be very proud of how beautiful and refined it is. And some of the stuff is not at that level completely, like the flower pots. I still consider being something that I'm practicing and studying from Guy Wolf. All of the shapes of the flower pots, except for a couple of the shapes like the neoclassical pots, all the other shapes are shapes that Guy Wolf has invented. And when I go over there and he shows me how to do something, he really breaks apart the nuances of these shapes. So my flower pot making practice is really as a student, watching what he does, asking if he would teach me, him showing me, and then me attempting to make it like him. But what ends up happening is there are lots of pots. So this website that is going to debut at noon Eastern Time on Sunday, December the 1st, this is the place where I feel so happy that I can put things that I'm proud of and offer up for sale. There, I have to say, a warning, there isn't a lot of stuff. We are not mass producing this stuff. I mean, it really is stuff that I am making with my own hands, and also stuff that I'm making with very high quality sentimental ingredients. So I'm not making this stuff with the primary purpose of producing a lot of it and selling it. And what that means is that it's expensive to produce. Like, look at this. I bought this from the farmer's market. This is a block of beeswax, 4.7 pounds, $70. And it was so beautiful. Like, it was, I have like 25 pounds of beeswax here, but this was so beautiful that this was the piece that I didn't end up breaking apart because I didn't need it. I just love like holding it and looking at it. But this is the case with everything that I do. The paint that is used for the marbled paper that I made this summer in the barn. Well, not this summer, this fall in the barn when I came back from Italy. All that paint I carried back by hand from Italy. I went to art stores in Florence and I found the acrylic paint that the Italians are using for their marbled paper. The paper itself is Fabriano paper from Italy. Here's a sort of very rustic used bar of my Wise Man soap that I just pulled from over there. This is the bar that I use in the barn when I'm in here. The stuff that goes into this, it's goat's milk, coconut oil, and then frankincense and myrrh, and all of that stuff I purchased in New York City. So I'm really excited to debut this website on Sunday. And if you happen to purchase something, I want to give you a few little pointers as to how to use this stuff, because it ain't cheap. So if you're gonna make that little splurge and purchase a pair of candles, there's a couple things you should know. Candles. If you buy candles from me, they will come like let me pull a pair right off the rack. So these were made yesterday. These will come. These will come wrapped up in a label. This is the label that I have been using since high school. I'm gonna label all these candles today. So they'll come like this. They come as a pair. You cut the wick. So you cut the wick so that just 1/4 of an inch is left off the top of the candle. And then the drips, they will usually just fit inside a candle holder, but if they don't, just break this off or cut it off with a utility knife. And when your candle, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. When you're using one of these candles, it's very important that you burn it away from any kind of draft. So ideally, you don't have the windows open and you don't put this near a vent where the heat's coming out or the air conditioning is coming out, because the flame should burn without moving. Okay? So when the flame burns without actually, let me put this over here. When the flame burns without flickering and moving around, the candle will burn for much, much longer, and it won't drip. The beeswax will just kind of burn and be used as the fuel for the flame. If, however, it's near a window, and that happens, and that's going to happen regularly, it's going to move around and cause the wax to drip, and it's also going to burn much faster. Okay? So, if you buy the candles, really try to use them in a place or a time where you don't have to have the windows open or it's not near a vent. That's the tip about using the candles. And these burn for quite a while. It just depends I don't know how many hours, but if you have a dinner party, you'll be able to use them for a few dinner parties. Candles. You can also snuff the flame out in the wax without blowing it out so that the wick is drowned in the wax instead of singeing. Tiny tips. Soap. If you purchase a bar of Wise Man soap, so I have to warn you, there are not a lot of the bars of soap on the website. As I said before, I make this just for me, for my own personal use, and I have been asked so many times if I sell this soap, and this is the first time I'm actually selling soap publicly. So this is precious stuff. If you use the soap, after you use it, don't put it in a dish or on a ledge or in the bathtub or the shower where there's water. It needs to sit in a place where it's going to dry. So I have these beautiful antique ironstone soap dishes, and they have a little plate that sits on the inside of the dish with a hole in it that allows the water to drain. But even better than that are these very inexpensive, cheap, they're plastic. It's an insert for a soap dish, and it's an oval with these spikes on it. It's just clear plastic. And that usually sits, you can actually put that just on the ledge of the shower or on a bathtub and put the soap on there, or you can use that as an insert in a soap dish. And that's actually what I have in my shower. So when I use this, I use my soap and then I put it on that little that plastic pad, and it holds it up so that it's not sitting in water and any excess water drips off. Flower pots. This is Guy's shape that he calls rope under rim, where there's a rope under the rim. And I love this simple shape with just a beautiful, simple ornamentation. This specific pot actually I made for my friend Alexander Novitz, and her name is stamped in it. This is a very unique pot, with custom made. If you buy a flower pot, there are two ways of using this. You can put the plant inside of this in its plastic container and then just use the pot that way, and the pot will remain like this. It won't really change in its color. But the way that I would suggest using these flower pots is to actually remove the plant from whatever container it's in, especially if it's a plastic container, and plant it in the clay pot. So the clay has been fired at a temperature that still allows it to absorb some water, and that's beneficial to the plant. And what happens because of that is, as you use the pot with the plant planted in here, the water will go into the soil, and minerals from the water and the soil will leach out into the clay, and over time this color will change. So sometimes people don't like that. They say, oh, I don't want this to change, or it happens unexpectedly to them, and they're shocked. They're like, the color of my pot changed. What do I do? How do I get it back to the way it looked? And you can wash it and scrub it, but you can't really ever get it back to what it looked like when it was new. I prefer when these pots are used and it changes over time. It develops a beautiful life of its own and a patina. And I've seen pots that I've made 5-6 years ago that have completely transformed, especially if it's left in a damp place, a damp, cool place. It'll start to grow moss on it sometimes, and those are just incredible. My friend Eve here, she has a couple of orchid pots that I made 3 years ago, and they're just stunning now because she actually planted the orchids in them, and they've transformed. So I would encourage anybody that buys one of these flower pots to really use it the old-fashioned way. Plant the plant in here, put this on a vintage plate, or like a copper or a brass or a silver-plated tray. The guy doesn't make saucers for these pots, neither do I, and I love the way that he actually suggests using them. In his shop, he has a couple of displays where there's a little copper tray, a shallow copper tray, or something brass, and this stuff is all around, like at vintage or junk stores or thrift stores. And then Guy and Erica put like little crushed rock or even seashells, like small ones, in the tray or the plate, and then they put the planted pot on top of that. And it looks really, really beautiful because it looks, it acts as a base for the pot where you really see the shape of the pot on its own. What happens with a saucer sometimes, I find, is the saucer hides this bottom corner of the pot. And this is a very, very, very small detail. But I believe that the merit of these pots, the beauty of these pots, really lie in the overall silhouette of the pot. And when Guy talks to me about these flower pots, he's always using architectural terms. Architecture has affected so many aspects of design for hundreds of years. Architecture is not just reserved for buildings, and the fundamental sort of proportions and lines in architecture really do affect so many other things that we use. For Guy, and now for me, that includes the flower pots. And when we have this rim here, which is like the cornice, the upper cornice, the molding, the exterior molding on a building, and then we have the wall of the pot, which is like the wall. This base is really important. The transition from the wall to the floor. And I just find that hiding that with a saucer detracts from the beauty of this form. So putting it on a saucer that has shells or rocks allows you to actually see the whole thing. Flower pots. Okay, those are just a few of the things that will be sold on the website, rajivsurendra.com. Debuts. It opens up for all of you to visit this Sunday, December 1st at noon Eastern Time. I'm really excited. Really excited because I love all this stuff. And I've just kind of been living with it and using it myself for so long that it brings me so much joy. And now, knowing that it's going to be opened up for other people to potentially consume, it's kind of thrilling for me. So thank you all so much, whether you're going to purchase something or not. The fact that you watch these videos and comment, and really all your words of encouragement mean so much to me. They're so motivating, and I'm very grateful. So I hope the people that do purchase things enjoy what they receive, and let's see where this goes.